All right, welcome to another impromptu stream. This stream is going to be about how I like to practice, and hopefully it'll encourage you to do your own practicing and be encouraged. If you have a plan when you practice, it's always a good thing. So what I'm going to do is just show you the way I practice. It's not the way you have to practice, and there are thousands of ways to practice. But my hope is that you'll get some encouragement from this. So the first thing, well, let me turn my camera on. Let's see if we have any. Let me put a PDF up there for you guys. We might hit one of the PDFs here in a minute. Let me just see here. Let's see. There it is. Okay. So this is just our ePDF, just another thing full of practice tips. Let me check the chat. Okay. All right, 4 people watching at this point. So again, this is about how I like to practice, and hopefully you guys will feel inspired to maybe do some of your own practicing. This is not a timed lesson like we normally do. I'm kind of giving you guys an opportunity to ask questions regarding practicing or something related to blues, jazz, or classical, or technique, or theory, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. But while we're doing that, hey Vicky, I'm going to do some practicing and show you guys how I like to practice. And normally I would be having a something to write down. I see a pen down there, and I actually I have a pen right here, and normally I would have my sheet music where I'd write down some ideas and things like that, but I'll just kind of talk through them, and then I'm going to write them out later. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some all keys practice, so hang in there. Let me get a different pen. These are not doing any good. All right, here we go. Oh, I might actually show you some of these voicings that I just wrote out, and I'm always writing out voicings and things. What's up, Vance? We missed you this morning. All right, everyone, we have 3 people watching right now. Make sure you like this video. Let's get a lot of likes. Let's get a lot of engagement. We're talking about practicing today, and I'm going to be doing some real-time practicing. And the first thing I'm going to say is all keys. Well, let me go to a new page. I'll come back to that. So let me get my red pen. See if this works. All right, so this is 9/11/25. It's always good to kind of keep an idea of what you're practicing, what you're working on. So 1, I'm just going to say, let's do blues scales and all keys. This is all keys practice, by the way, just one of a million ways to practice. I'll do blues scale, and I'll do hands together. And this is going to get really fun in advance. So if you think you're intermediate or this is way too simple for you, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. These are all going to be really good tips, but we're going to start easy. So hands together, and then I'm going to do right hand octave scale. Okay, so this would be the first example, and we would normally, well actually I do have a backing track I think that I can put on that would go through all keys, but let's first just do some without the tracks. All right, we know the first 5 notes of the blues scale, super important, and normally I wouldn't move on super fast. I would just spend time on each key, getting it down, and you can turn on your track. And what's nice about these, again, I'm doing the fast version so that we get through a lot of material. But notice how my hand's getting set up, and once I get the pattern, it doesn't change. I'm just doing the first 5 notes of every blues scale, and all of these patterns are very similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we would do G, A flat, A, and B flat, and B. Now B, notice how B, you kind of go up into the keys, and there's only one black note, the F sharp, okay? Okay, now the next important thing is this, is that whenever you're playing a blues, or even any standard, if I'm doing Take the A Train or something, I know that I'm going to use my C blues scale occasionally because it's always good to do that, but I will also use 3 half steps down from the root, and that gives you your A blues scale and the first 4 notes. Now why is that important? Because all day long jazz musicians are using the relative minor of the major, so 3 half steps down from your root, and you can hint around to that A note, which is so nice to play over jazz standards, jazz blues, but then you can go boo da 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 da, and you can go minor third to major third, da 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 da. So you hear how I'm. And what you'll find is as you're playing jazz standards, a lot of the time you can hang out in that area, even over different chords. And then you can play that kind of minor flat third of C major, and then occasionally give it that nice little lift of the minor third to major third. And you can also do things, of course, like from what I'd say starts on the 5th, but it's that same kind of thing on the 3rd. That's just a really nice thing. But to stay focused on our practice session, we just did all keys on the first 5 notes of the blues scale. So not only are you getting your finger work in, I'm just going to do a little bit more. Sometimes I like to do the up-down approach. You guys know that, where I go a comfortable key up to a comfortable one that we don't play in as much, maybe D flat, and you go back down, and then go down to B, a half step. Okay, I want to make sure I'm doing that, and then I go back to home where it's comfortable. So that's what I like to call the up-down approach. But also we know that we can get used to thinking about whenever I'm in C, my relative minor scale, my A minor is the first 4 notes there. So you start to associate when I'm playing a blues and I'm playing in C blues, I can play the scale, but I can also go down here and play the A blues scale. And I think you guys know that, and we've been working on that. So now let's go over the fingering for all the scales. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. That's a 1 octave C blues scale. And if you want to repeat it, you just repeat the thumb again, and you can go all the way up and down. And you guys know I like to think about the 4th finger as my nice transition note. If I do F sharp, I'm here. And I think of that F sharp as a nice little connection to play all throughout the keyboard. So here we go. So C. And I'd spend a little time doing that, and then maybe go up a half step. And I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to spend time just messing around with that, turning it around. You want to go up the octave, do that. Get used to that little different fingering. For D, it's the same as C. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 is a nice fingering for D. For E flat, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, this is the ways that I like to practice, so this will be more of an overall concept thing, not me breaking down every single thing, unless you guys ask for it. All right, so E is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I do ask that you guys would like this video if you're enjoying this. F is interesting because it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's up, T man? Hey Dad, good to see you. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, G is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. A flat is going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. A is 1, 2, 3, 4. We already did, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We already did that one, right? So we have B flat is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get used to that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, B is going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Okay, so let's say we're doing the key of B, we're getting that blues scale. And one thing about the B is notice it's just one sharp. It's one black note, F sharp, right? That's kind of comforting there. In the same way that we've been working on E blues lately, and E has one black note, and that's the B flat. And the fingering is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now, as part of this lesson, we will actually, if we have enough people on and enough people are interested, we'll do some E blues practice like we did the etude this morning, and we did pentatonic scales, blues scales, triplets, all those things. I just need to know inside the chat as we are getting going with this stuff. Okay, so again, this is how I practice. So let's say that I've done that a while, and again, I'm usually using some kind of timekeeping device. So maybe an app, a backing track, something to get the flow going. So now let's move into some micro practicing. So this idea of the triad. So this idea of maybe I'm going to use root in my left hand, and maybe root fifth. So I'm visualizing the triad in minor third to major third. And then I'm coming over to 6, 5, and then I go up Memphis, right? You guys know what Memphis is? That's the part in Memphis's song where we go flat 7, major 7, root. Okay, now let's go up 4 notes from that. Now we're on F. Now the way you're going to get this is the F triad. I'm surrounding that. And B flat, my middle finger goes to that note. The Memphis, that's right. So see how sometimes I'm doing that double time? How about E flat? See how you're building some confidence here? Also, I like to practice different fingerings. Like this is good, 3, 5, 4, 2, but also you can go 2, 4. And for some of you, that'll feel much more comfortable there. What about A flat? Same thing. I'm getting up into the keys. Or I can do 2, 4. Extend it a little bit. All right, now D flat. Same thing. Now I'm thinking D flat triad. See how we're building confidence? Confidence is high. What about G flat? Changing my fingers. So I need to show you guys something that I just did that you may have picked up on. I did this right here. I went but then I went right. You probably heard that. Now what's really interesting in that is I showed you guys whatever dominant chord you're on. If I'm on F sharp, I can go down 3 half steps and use the relative minor of that F sharp, right? So that's E flat, and that gives me the first 4 notes of the E flat blues scale. So then I can go, I'm here on F sharp. See how that works, Vance? So I go again. Now, F sharp is a perfect example of if you use 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 1, it can be a little tricky right there. So some of you will like 2, 4, 3. Depending on your hand size and the shape of your hand, everybody's going to do it a little different, and I like to practice different fingerings anyway. So then we're at F sharp. Let's go to B and do the same thing. Root fifth. Now that's 3, 5. Now I could go 2, 4. So then here I go to 6/5 root, and or there's the Memphis, right? Again, Memphis. Let's go to E. Here we go. Let's go to A. And D. What about G? All right, you guys with me? You see how that works? So now we're building some serious confidence here. Now we're going to keep going, and now let's add something else. Let's do this. If you guys are enjoying this, let me see how many people have liked this video. I'm showing one right now. That's pretty sad. I'm going to watch my own ad here. All right, so 3. That's pretty sad. 3 people have liked this video. Okay, now let's do this. We're going to do a longer line here. So 5, 6, root, 2nd, minor 3rd, and chromatically up to the 5th. Kind of like an Oscar Peterson kind of thing. That's a longer line, isn't it? And here. So this idea of ba-ba-doo-doo-da-da, that's a perfect example. I need to add that. So at first on my practice sheet here, I'm going to write these things. So I'm keeping track of what I'm practicing. So far I did the blues scale, and then I did the octave blues scale, and I did some different right hand things. And I'll remember that. And of course, I'm recording this session as well. But now I'm going to do a longer line. Longer line. I'll call it Oscar Peterson, and I'll call it 5/6 root, and it'll help me remember 5/6 root. And I'm going to do a longer, so much longer. I'm going to do like this. Maybe not that long, but I like the idea of stringing a few things together like this. You guys know that I love, if you're not feeling bluesy or jazzy, go up to that flat 7. And then I did Memphis at the end there. That's kind of nice there. So let's say if that was our idea, and I'm also going to write this idea of the C triad. If you visualize the C triad, I go, like on a C blues, I could go. And then on the F chord, watch this. What's up? What's up, Mr. Sill? Good to see you, Noah. Everybody say hey to Noah. That's my Sill. All right, watch this. We have this. Okay, so let's talk about the theory of what I'm doing. I'm going root. I'm doing 5th, 6th, root, 2nd, minor 3rd, major 3rd, chromatically up. and I end on third up to the root for now. Now let's go up to D flat. So I'm thinking about the same exact thing. I went 5, 6, root, second. And notice this. So if you're doing a D flat blues and you play your D flat, Memphis, right? So now we have this. Then I might go up a half step. So in my mind, I'm thinking root. I'm saying 5th, 6th. All right, now we're going to go up another. And I got to the 3rd and the root. Then I might go up again. And notice I'm stringing some things together, like this idea. Watch this. Hey, no police cars, Vance. And then G, we're almost done. Again. B flat. B. And then we're home. Hey, you can't call in the police on that one, because this is a different stream. This is how I practice. This is not how you're supposed to do exactly what I'm doing. The tempo police. Now, I'm going to break this down so you guys can feel really encouraged. So we're going to do something different. But I did this for me. I took one idea of a longer line and I did this in all keys. I mean, technically we could do this. If we wanted, we could keep extending it as much as we want. But then normally you'd be doing with a kind of rhythm. Now, you see how I'm doing? I'm stringing these ideas together. And what's really, really important about that is, even though let me go back to C. This is something we do all the time. Root 6, root 6, 5th, 6th root, chromatically up to the 3rd, right? And then I just went chromatically up to the 5th. So this would be a good thing to do. Now, call that part 1. Call this part 2. And that would be a great thing to practice in all keys. And you go to B flat, same thing. So I'm visualizing the triad. And then you could go. Okay, now let's keep going, and now let's say that we had, so I said this was part 1, this was part 2, and part 3 was this. Okay, now forget about what I just did there, because Vance gave me a ticket. But now think about this. Think of this idea of whatever key you're in, you're going to go up to that flat 7. You're not feeling bluesy. You're not feeling jazzy. Call this the case and blues lick. You have this case in point. Watch this. Flat 7. That's doable by everybody. And you could take it down and do this. Right? Now I took this and combined those two together. Or now I'm going to go Memphis. I'm going to go. Now I'm going to go to the octave. We're back at home. Okay, now, you see how I was stringing those together, Vance? I know it was making it a little bit where I started off here, and then we did this. Maybe it's something like a generic pattern that you need. I'll have to go back and write all of those out, those small ideas. But these ideas of micro ideas is really important. So let's say your blues, Vance, that does this. Vance's blues does a little bit of this, where we go, and it does Cruella de Vil, and then it does this right here. So we're in the key of C now. Now what a great lick right there. And then does diminished. But I like this right here for Vance's tune. Now what's happening right there? It's going on the, I'm on G minor and I go from the 11th down to the minor 3rd. Now watch what happens. Goes to the 3rd of C. So 2, 5. I go, and then the flat 9 of C. That's the perfect example of a micro lesson. Watch. So if I was in the key of C and I go D minor, the 11th, down to the minor 3rd. And Vance, I need you to verify that you get it, and anybody else watching. We have 9 people watching now. And there's my flat 9. Right? So we have this. I could go. You guys hear what I'm doing there? Let's do that again. Again. And now notice what I did there. I did Vance's lick, and then watch what happens here. What does this create right here? The flat 9 of G, right? That's what that gets us, the flat 9 of G. Now, we know that we can play a diminished scale above whatever dominant we're on. So G up a half step is A flat. Watch. G flat, G diminished gets us, or B diminished, or A flat diminished, or D diminished, or F diminished gets us the flat 9 of G, right? We know that. So if I go, I could go, and then I resolve to the third. And now watch this. We know that if I go up a half step from A, which is my 6th chord, I can do B flat diminished. B diminished. Here we go, B flat. Now that's a fun little idea. So Vance, when you're practicing your dominant chords, you say, well, if I'm on G, I can go up a half step from G and play B diminished. And it's going to sound great, and it's going to give me the flat 9 of G. And then I resolve it. Now, listen back to Vance's thing like this. Watch. Isn't that nice? Beautiful? So if I was on F, right, F minor, I go from the 11th down. You talk about building up some confidence. If I'm on C minor, okay, so let's do this a little bit more. Let's say if we're on, what if we were on E flat? Well, watch this. Yeah, see how that works? What about E? If I'm on E, I go to the 11th to get to the minor 3rd. You guys see that? Let's go back to C again. So D minor. Vance's lick. Yeah, watch Vance's idea lick. So you go from Vance's blues, you go, and we're gonna go, and I just went to that diminished to gives us the flat 9 we like and know and love. Okay, so now let's take things a little bit more simple. Are you guys ready? So I'm gonna write those down. I'm gonna write review because I'm gonna write some of those out. But I'm going to call this one Vance. Number 4 is going to be Vance minor 3rd. And it's this idea right here, everybody. So if I'm in the key of G and I do A minor D7, watch. Okay, I went to the 11th of A. And then there's my flat 9 of D, and I resolved on the 3rd of G. Okay, that's great. And then you could take it and put it in different keys. So if you ever need that short 2-5-1 that gives you a little bit of sauce and flavor, I could do what I just did. I went, look at that. Right? You see what I did there? Let me do that again. So we went, and instead of doing this, I did this. And I resolved to the major 7. I go. Okay, now let's go over a few more ideas. Let's talk about something totally different. Okay, let's say that I was going to mess around with something as crazy as giant steps. You guys with me? I need you to put yes in the chat. Of course, I'm going to get copyright strikes, so maybe I won't play the melody, and maybe I'll just give you guys some ideas to practice. So when we think about giant steps, it's going crazy fast, and it's all kinds of different changes that we're not used to. And so what I want to encourage you is that you can do simple patterns, like you'll hear on the record. You'll hear this 1, 2, 3, 5 pattern, right? And now I'm going to play it sort of as a straight up scale right now, just 1, 2, 3, 5 of any major chord, right? So there it is right there. If you needed a minor sound, just make it minor, and that works on there. So watch this. If I'm doing super slow on giant steps, and I could go up, 1, 2, 3, 5, I go to D. When I go to G, I could do that, and B flat, same thing. And now watch, I'm going to come down the E flat scale. Now watch, I'm going to go to A minor, I'm going to do the minor. Major, F sharp. Now watch this, micro learning here. Minor. Just doing scales kind of right now. Watch. Now let's do it again. Just doing scales. Now what I did right there sounded like this. Watch. I did this. See what I did there? I went up to this note, which is a half step above the B flat. It's a diminished. I could go. Right? So I did. So I just did that micro thing. Let's do it again. So here. Watch this. Watch, I can do it right here. Even here, you could go. Same here. Here it is again. Making sense. Yeah, to have fun with that and those little micro patterns. Now, This morning I had a nice little practice session where I had just a loop going, a drum loop, and it forces you to kind of stay in tempo and to think about whatever you're going to do. And I like to practice in whole steps, half steps. Sometimes I'm practicing my scales, practicing my smoothness, and practicing little different ideas and different keys. Okay, a few more things. So let's do this. If we're going to go C major, we can go. That's a nice little generic pattern. We're about to get into, we're going to do a tune in just a second. So you guys, I'm just showing you how I like to practice. So I'm going to put down triads because that's another good one to practice. So I'll put that, it's not really 5, but I'll put triads down. So sometimes I'll do exactly what I just did, like a C triad, and I go, okay, I could go. So I could practice each thing. I hit the note, go down in the 5th. I can go. Or I could go. Now F. This is great for your ear training. Any key, you say. Okay, let's do a few more ideas, and then we'll do. Actually, let's go to the tune of the day. We did this morning, but let's go ahead and start. So let me see how many people have liked this video of just watch me practice. Only 6. That's really sad, Vance. Okay, let's go ahead and just so anybody's watching, normally my videos, I'm going painfully slow on purpose and tons of repetition. But right now, I'm practicing some things for me as I have some important gigs coming up in October, and I want to make sure that I'm fluent in every key. And so I'm starting to get my shedding together where I'm taking small ideas. I think it's really important to take these concepts and like practice here. Something simple, some 5-note pattern. It could be this. If you're on a minor chord, you just give them this. Let's go to F. Or F minor. B flat. And that's important because if I'm playing a tune and I'm in the key of C and I can go boo da doo da da da, or if I need a minor chord, right? I could go. And you could go. See how many things you can do right around the C chord, and you want to be able to do that in every key. B flat. Okay, now let's do this. We're about to do Bill's tune, but let's do Vicky's concept here. We have a bunch of new charts in our membership folder, and so one of those is Vicky's Cruel E One L of a Blues, something like that. I got another police siren. I'm in trouble with Vance. But watch this, Cruella de Vil, a great lick for everybody. Now, whenever you get this, notice it's minor third to major third. And you're going minor third to major third up to the flat 7. Let's actually turn on the track for some of these. Let's see if we can get, we'll turn on the E blues in just a second, but let's work on a C blues. Let's do the jazz blues, and we'll do Cruella de Vil. Here we go, C blues simple. and let a little time go by, and then we'll do it again. How about Vance's thing? Cruella de Vil. Vance's lick. Little Memphis there. Okay, so you see how I kept adding your lick there, Vance? Just same thing on D minor or on G minor. Really nice to do that. Okay. So you hear how we do the Cruella de Vil. Now let's dig in. Let's dig in. Very important to watch this next part, everyone. Is that when you do Cruella de Vil, you're 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing on F, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing on B flat, and same thing on E flat. When you get to A flat, you have to start doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For A flat, just mark it down. For D flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You start to by doing this, you'll start to feel where these minor third to major third is. And what I love about this particular Cruella de Vil lick is that it gets us up to the flat 7, minor third to major third, and the flat 7. Now, F sharp, B, E, and then one more A, or actually two more, and D, D, wait, hold on, what are we, what are we doing? And then G, same thing. Oh, actually, it goes back to the other fingering for G. So let me do that again. So pay attention, because when you go around the cycle, C up to F, up to B flat, E flat, going around the cycle, the first fingering is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. F is the same thing. B flat, same thing. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and E flat. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now once you get to A flat, D flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. F sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then B, A. And then D. Okay, so let's do A again. D. And G starts over the fingering. Now watch this E flat. Now it changes. E, A, D, and G is back. Okay, so now let's practice just the ones that do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if you're used to doing this, 2, 1, once you get to like D flat, you got to make sure you get this feel right here. F sharp. And spend a little time getting the minor third to major third. What about B? I'm thinking about where my starting note is minor third to major third. Now watch, same thing for E. I know it's G up to G sharp. Same thing for A. It's the minor third to major third. What about D? So we're here, and then we're here on F, the minor third of D. Let's do that again. For A, and G is back. So let's practice. Now, why is that so important of doing that is we have to get fluent in practicing different keys. So I'm going to write down Cruella de Vil. This is Vance says this is really kind of cruel. It's not. It's not cruel, Vance. I didn't see a police siren. I think we're fine. So I'm going to put Cruella on that one. Vance says this is kind of cruel. Hey, Vance, did you know the exciting news from today? And T-Man, you might not know the exciting news, but we have a new member of the YouTube channel. We're at the 15 now. Shout out to Ron. Ron got us to 15. So remember, to anybody who is a member of the YouTube channel, for that, at the minimum, it's a one coffee a month. Can you imagine that? One coffee a month and all the stuff you get for that? It's crazy. But Ron got us to 15. I really want to go for 1,500 until the end of the year, right? Oh, you heard. Very good. Yeah, super excited that Ron is a member of our YouTube channel. And everybody who's a member, make sure you click on the Memphis folder. We have a bunch of new charts in there. So anyway, so we're going to get into Bill's song in just a minute. But when I'm doing these, Vance, right here, yeah, Ron's the man. He still hasn't made, I mean, he just joined, but he still hasn't made it into the chat. But I'm super excited. So Ron, you need to click the Memphis folder and any of the other folders that you want inside the membership area. Most of them are not locked down, but some of them are like master folders that you just have to say, I'd like access to all this, and you get everything in there. It's crazy. I hope that, Vance, if we build it, they will come. That's my hope, is that people will understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, now we're about to go over Bill's tune. Okay, let me just say there's one other thing I want to talk about, and that's related to practice. You know, right now I'm showing you one of the ways I like to practice, and that is like doing these micro things like a C6 lick. Even my beginners, just hang in there, okay? So like I'm doing these notes, minor third to major third. And to be not a true musician, that would be the wrong way to say it. To be really empowered and feel confident when you go to play with other people. If they say, like, pick another key, Vance, any key. Let's talk about simplicity of the blues for a minute. So you got to be expecting the unexpected when it comes to playing with other people. Like, we do a lot in C. We go C, F, and we do simple keys like that. But you never know what key you're going to play in. I got called, I remember one time, to play in like Mississippi or something. It was the last minute. The guy canceled and they needed a piano player. And I drove there, and the very first thing the guy called was D blues on let me think of what he was on. D concert blues. So he was playing E blues on trumpet, and it was like D blues. So I had to, get all my D stuff together on the fly. I'm going way back. All right, so let's do, wait, what do you say? Okay, so Vance said G. Let's say somebody shows up and we say, all right, key of G, blues. Boom, da, da, ba. We know that I just did the C6 lick, but on G. Because this is going to be the same exact fingering, 2, 2, 3, 4, as you do on the key of C. Okay, so notice I started off, which is the same movement as this. But because we've done some micro practicing and we're getting used to this idea, if he had said the key of F, same exact feeling on F. And I'll do a little solo. Let's say if it was solo piano, and I'm going to go. But he said G. So even on G for just a second, we know we can go down 3 half steps to and then. Now let's go to E flat. Now, a really nice thing about the key of E flat, watch what happens. If I want to do the relative minor, what's the relative minor scale of E flat? And I'm going to practice while I'm waiting for you guys to say that. Now I'm doing eighth notes. Relative minor of E flat. right, so Vance, you got it. So 3 half steps down is your money note, right? You got this idea of you're in E flat major, Memphis right there. Now watch when I go to A flat. B flat. Okay, you see how that works, Vance? If you guys do, then let me know in the chat. All right, now, some really important things is I'm practicing this kind of thing, and I told you the reason we do these micro practice sessions where I say, all right, I'm going to focus on that C6 lick. Okay, and I get that down. We know that F is a slide key, minor third to major third. We know that G is a slide key. We know B flat is sliding off of the minor third to major third. What about E flat? But what happens if we do D flat? We have to get up into the keys and hammer on the minor third to the major third. Now watch D, same thing. I have to hammer on the minor third to major third. So slide key on E flat. Okay, now I'm going to write the C6 lick, and I'm doing things that I'm making notes of what I practice in all keys. I'm going to say C6 lick in all keys. We'll call that number 7, even though we've done a whole bunch more. The next thing we're going to do is let's do the most important lick at iMusicAcademy. Not the most important, the first one that we ever did that went over 1 million views, and that's this one right. It was one of the ones right here. This. Now this really popular lick, my most famous, probably the most horrible video I've ever done, and it's really dark, spooky lighting. And but I think what everybody liked about it is I got right to it, and I started saying, all right, you could do this, and I did it. And then I said, all right, you could do this. And I think I did a little diminished kind of old school lick. Now, that's a perfect example of getting this going right here. This movement right here of minor third to major third to the 4 to the flat 7 is the same exact movement when I go to F. And same thing right here. G is the same. Now watch this. I'm going to go here. I could go up a half step, and now I hammer on the minor third to major third. I get up into the keys. There's my 4 chord in second inversion, and then my D flat 7. Now, we have 9 people watching now. If you're enjoying the heck out of this, you can do a lot of things. You can like this video. You can say hello in the chat. You can hit the join and join our 15 members of the YouTube channel. And if you're even remotely interested in being a part of any of our other academies, then just email me, bob@imusicacademy.com or imusicacademy1@gmail.com. But another fun way you can support me is there's a beginning blues sheet down here. I didn't even notice this was in here, but if you click on that, it'll open up to it should open right up to this beginning blues sheet. You take these 5 notes right here, and I'll show you different ways you can turn around. You can go Oscar Peterson. You can do this. You can do this. So all you have to do is click beginning blues sheet, and you can have that. I don't think it's locked down. Let me just see if it's locked down or not. I don't think it is. I think it's just ready to go. Yeah, look. Anyone with the link. So all you have to do is click on it, download. I don't even get on this one, I don't even get your information. Just download it. If you would give me a thumbs up on the video. Oh wait, hold on a second. I didn't even realize something very important. Okay, I can see. Okay. Yeah, I was delayed and I couldn't see my screen at all. Yeah, so everybody right now, click on that blues sheet. It's 2 pages long and it gives you great ideas. You want to get better in all keys? Do that. Okay, so my gift to you. Now, again, if you want to support me, you can do a lot of things. You can join our YouTube membership. It says you can join the channel. You just click, you can join right here. And there are 3 different tiers. We have 15 people. Almost half of them are elite members. They, on their own, are signing up for the highest tier, which I'm extremely grateful. And the lowest tier is like buying me a Starbucks coffee. And then another really important thing is that you can now donate to the live stream. You click on it and you can do a PayPal donation. Of course, you can do super chats, which sometimes people do. Every bit of it helps. And I'm really trying to grow this thing. So thank you so much for your support. We also have courses. It says blues and jazz courses. You just click on there if you want to just get a course. That's also a way to support me. All right, back to what we're doing. So let's finish up by doing a couple of things. This right here, let's talk about this one lick right here. You have this. Let's say you have 5 or 10 minutes. You need to practice something, get those fingers going. That's not a bad way to do it. Okay, because watch what happens. I get this going. I don't have to go all the way up. I can go. I can start at the top. I could go 1/8 notes. What do you think, Marla? Okay, so notice that one lick, you can go up halfway, you can go back down, you can start at the top. F. So then we could take this idea right here. One of Vance's favorite licks. Another thing is, the crazy thing is, for my members and even my YouTube members, I give you guys crazy amounts of material. I give you the shapes course. Pretty much, if you're an all access, you get anything you want. But the reason I'm telling you that is because I have baseline courses that literally take one idea like this right here, and we do. How cool is it just to change up the bass? So you could do this. Let's say we're going to put this little lick where we go. Again. Let's do it on F. Memphis. right, now how fun is that? Now, if you want to really take that to the next level, watch this. You have this. I'm going to go up to D flat. Have to hammer on those minor third to major third, everyone. So to play that one idea, which is great for your blues playing, to play it in all keys, you're either going to do a slide key, sliding that minor third to major third, or you're going to hammer on in D flat. You hammer on minor third to major third. So you have this. Let's go back to C. Now give me A minor. Memphis. My keyboard is going for a walk there. All right, it's nice to get in an afternoon session. Yes, Marla, I told you I was going to do that, especially for you, because I know that sometimes you have trouble getting to the earlier session. So we're going to keep doing that. And Marla, you may have heard the news. We have 15 members now. Ron signed up last night for our YouTube channel. We're excited about that. And as always, I'm extremely grateful for my All Access members and our Chord Academy members, but also as an easy way for people to get involved in iMusicAcademy, we have the YouTube channel, which is an option. I'm waiting for number 16. I can't wait for that to happen. Okay, now we're going to end this session with going over Bill's tune again. So we're going to switch to the key of E, but I want to make sure that everybody who is a member or you're just hanging out, that you get these tips in the key of E, because it's a really awesome thing what I'm about to show you. So hang in there. Yes, that's right. Don't retract those messages. I know I'm with you. I agree. It's a woohoo kind of moment. That's right. That's right. Marla's Blues. Marla's Blues is awesome. Everybody loves Marla's Blues, just so y'all know. Okay, I'm going to pull up the track and the chart. Let me do this. I'm going to send this to my YouTube. This was my first, hold on a second. Let me do something here. Y'all, we're always doing some things on the fly here, especially I can get away with a lot with the non-official lessons. I've already done the official. We were at 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes from this morning. But like this is kind of an office hours and watch me practice. And it always ends up being a teaching lesson because you guys know I love to teach. All right, let me pull this up. Okay, there it is. This right here. So this is not even the full lesson. This is like, I got to find the other one because I've made 16 or more patterns. But let me just give you guys this one while it's here and fresh and ready to go. So I'm going to do blues licks in E, and I'm going to do a copy of this. So hang in there for my YouTube members. And Marla, I put some backing tracks inside the membership areas today, and I'll do a follow-up to everybody. So you don't have to go hunt anything. I'm going to do a follow-up email. All right, copy of this. And so now what I'm going to do is on my drive, I'm going to rename this. And we're going to call this YouTube E. YouTube member E Blues. And you guys get so much stuff. It's ridiculous. But we do a lot of repetition, and that's always my goal, is not to just give you guys a million things, but we're going to go through this stuff and keep going through this stuff. All right, now I am going to pull this. Actually, I'm going to download it, and now I'm going to drag it Hold up. I know what I'm doing. YouTube member. I'm going to send this into the Memphis folder. All right, here we go. We're going to move this. And we're going to go Memphis. Okay, so now my YouTube members have access to this chart. Let me go ahead and pull this up, and we're going to go over Bill's tune. And the reason you guys need to know, the reason I put this chart in here just now, Bill's tune, is because you can use all of these E blues tips, and they are loaded. In fact, we're going to do a mix of playing the tune, and there it is. So, Marla, in your drive for iMusic Academy Spring, and I already sent you guys this morning a reminder that all my All Access members need to be checking all of the folders. You can always access any of the folders, but from today, there's Bill's tune, and there's the copy of the E Blues wave file, and let me do this. So now there's 3 folders in there from today. All right, let me pull this up, and we're good to go. Let's play Bill's tune first, and then we're going to go over all these crazy tips that you can use. And you don't want to miss this, everybody. I promise. You want to hang around for this. All right, here we go. So now we're back into trio version. We go blues scale. All right, now that's Bill's tune. Bill is one of our newest members at Bill is not he's one of our newest All Access Academy members. And he got his tune today, and he really loves it, and that makes me happy. All right, so there's that. Now, let's dig into what you're going to do, to practice all this stuff. I'm going to pull this up. All right, now all of this is in the YouTube membership folder in the Memphis folder. So watch this. We have the first 5 notes, just like we do everything else. This idea, you want a little minor third to major third. This idea, 3 half steps down. And this right here. You guys know as we're improvising, I want you to think E, triad, and watch this. When it goes to the A, notice that's an E minor triad, right? Because I need that G natural on A7. And then we have this kind of sound, which I put the fingering as well, a generic blues lick. You go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we have this lick in A, but I'll show you the fingering that I like to use in E is this. So 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. Okay, that's really cool. And then you have Vicky's Cruella de Vil. That is so important. I mean, watch how useful this is in the key of E. If I do this, so I'm not looking at the chat right now, but watch how nice this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On B, watch this. A. Memphis. blues scale. All right, let me stop this. Now, we're about to get into the craziest part of this whole lesson, but I need to check the chat. I always feel like I'm used to being on a schedule, like 30 minutes. I have 35, 30, and then begging for more. What happened to the chat? We better still be live. Let me see. I'm missing where did everybody go? That's kind of sad. All right, let me go to here. All right. I think y'all are still here, but let me check one thing. Something happened to. All right, I'm going to try to get back to where I was. I got to see the chat. It's no fun if I can't see what you guys are doing, and I got to make sure we're still live. So let me do this. I'm going to get there. I'm almost there. All right. We have seven likes. That's sad. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk. Okay. Now, good to see you, Sharon. I got to say hey to Sharon. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this really quickly. So Sharon says, do you ever think in terms of hand grips? I've seen a few other videos about this, and in the key of E, you're finding it helpful. I definitely think about, in terms of hand grips, there's all kinds of different things like grips where, like if I'm thinking D minor, like that's sort of a grip, a shape, right? And same thing to G. So all those are shapes for sure, right? And then so if you're doing an E blues and you do E7 and you do this, so I'm thinking of this shape, standard E triad, E7 chord. And then I like to think about your index finger going up a whole step, and it perfectly sets you up for those kinds of ideas. Does that make sense, Sharon? Same thing. All right, let me check. Would this be good with the backing track? Yes, of course. Awesome. All right, let me check on Sharon. Yes. All right, so Sharon's getting this idea of these shapes, like whenever we're talking about even the idea of the triad, and I go da 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 da. I'm thinking an E triad here. So that's how you can transpose really easy. Is be thinking about your triads. Be thinking about your seventh chords. And think about, there are always visuals you can use to help you with your transposition and getting into licks. Like if I'm doing this, Sharon, I'm thinking, all right, this is the first part of this lick, right? Minor third to major third. And if I think about this same shape in the key of E, and I hammer onto that minor third to major third, and notice it's a triad, and then the 4 chord in second inversion, and then the 7th, right? So E. Same thing. So when I go to A, there's my triad. There's my minor third to major third. Sharon, I told you this yesterday, but Sharon is one of our newest members of the YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Sharon. I hope that you're having as much fun as we are having you. And I did watch all of your videos. You're sounding fantastic. And I'm looking forward to working with you. I have some really crazy, awesome ideas, but you're a very talented player, and it's really cool to have you. And really happy to have you in the chat, Sharon. All right, here we go. So the next thing is back to this idea of shapes and these ideas. All right, now we're going to get into the pentatonic stuff. Are you guys ready? So watch this. If I do E minor pentatonic, 5-note scale, right? And I like to make sure, and let me just pull this up on the chart just so we're clear. Sharon knows what's up. All right, now watch. That's right, because Sharon and Vance got to meet each other sort of in the chat. We had a late night session one time. All right, now let me pull this up because this is really important. So as you get over here, I'd already mentioned this idea of how simple and how awesome it is to get that major third in. So, you know, the minor pentatonic scale is fantastic, and even playing the blues scale is great. But you need that major third. It gives you that. So that's why you could practice this E. And I put the fingerings in there when you guys look at this stuff. You do 1, hammer on, the 5th, 6, and then open up the hand for that octave. And it sounds great when you actually play your octaves as well, like blues scale octaves. And you're building up your strength in your fingers. So the minor scale, the minor pentatonic scale, 5-note scale, and we're going to do 4-note groupings at first. So I like for you guys to learn 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And I'm going to turn on the track and show you how I like to practice these and how I want you guys to practice these as well to build some fluency and some confidence. So 4 notes. You can play a little bit and then rest a little bit. You can turn it around. You can start at the top. Bottom to top. Now let's go to the next pattern. Now notice that that's 1, 2, 3, 5 of the G major scale. That's really important because that's an easy shape to see and visualize. Again. Now what I'm going to do is put those two together. Here we go. So now what I'm going to do is spend a little time there. Now I'm going to, really quickly, I'm going to speed this process up. Like I would spend this for, practice this for a while. I really want to get the sound of, and it's good to sing along. Even if you don't feel like you're a singer, all of you, everybody's a singer. And you just got to use it to get whatever is going on in your head out. So, notice that this is restrictive practicing. I'm only going to practice this. Now I'm practicing this one. 4 notes. I can double time it, whatever I want to do. Next one, I'm going to go A, B, D, E, the next inversion. Let's listen to how that sounds. 2, and I'm doing 4-note groupings. Here we go. See how what I did there? Let's go backwards. So even those 3, I'm just got to the first 3 4-note groupings, and I didn't even play the flat 5 of the blues scale. You do want to mix it up. You could go or maybe you want to do the blues scale after you do some of that. Okay, let me check on the chat, and then we have some really cool inversions, and then one other thing to round up this lesson. Okay, so Marla says the next song we're gonna do Bill's song again. All right, so Sharon plays a lot of gospel stuff lately. She's into counterpoint stuff. And Sharon, we're going to be talking about all this kind of stuff. So Sharon, one of the things I was going to talk to you about, and we're going to do some of this, is this idea for everybody. Or, right, in whatever key. So using those inner voicings is so important. Or, isn't that nice? Yeah. Also, yeah, there's so many fun things I want to do. And what I thought with you, Sharon, is we would do some of those kinds of things, and also the Barry Harris kind of stuff as well with the drop twos. But I have a practical approach of how we're going to do some of that. Yeah, it's so nice to do. And what a lot of people don't understand about what I do with my beginning students is this kind of thing where I say, all right, you can do 1, 2, 5 of the scale, right? You can do 1, 2, 5. And then you could, and if they're a beginner, we would just do that. We would do like this. And then if they have a little more experience, we might add the 5th. So we go here. Okay, and then we can go, don't even change the right hand, right? What does that give you? That's the 9th, the 6th, the major 6, 9. That's a sus. What about that right there? That's an A minor 11. How beautiful is that? Just by itself. Again, this is like basics 101. I could go. Listen to how beautiful that is. This idea of, I mean, that's nice right there. So I'll have my students playing and singing songs where they're just literally have one shape. And then we'll talk about how nice. Sure. Yeah, it's thousands of songs like that. But also this beautiful idea of you putting your D minor and your C major together. Like how beautiful is that for D minor 11? Right, Sharon? And then you could spread out that D minor with that C major. And then the other thing I love to teach related to that, nothing wrong with country music. Sounds like a song, Vance. The other thing, so I love to teach that the simplicity of those kinds of things. I'm trying to work and listen, but you're making me want to play. So Sharon, when we get together and work, I think we're going to do a lesson this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. But I love this idea of, is that all we need right here? 2 notes in the left hand, 3 in the right. D7, sharp 9, sharp 5. A flat, sharp 11 with the 13. And you can go up half steps, down in whole steps. Go to G minor. All right, let's go back to but so much fun. Like I love chord voicing so much, and I do a lot of fun little trainings on those. But it's always nice to really dig down in the simplicity of some of these voicings, like your G minor 11. All right, here we go. Let's wind up with doing the blues. I like this because this is kind of what we can do when I do my office hours where I'm practicing and I can kind of go off in different directions based on what you guys are into. And that makes me feel really good because I can get away with it. All right, so, and I haven't had any police sirens lately from Vance, so that's a good thing, even though he probably wants to give me a warning of some kind. Thought I was ending with Bill's note. I am, Vance. Don't make me write you a ticket. I'll citizens arrest you for that. All right, fine. I probably deserve a ticket for that. Sharon, just so you know, Vance is he's the police around here, the speed police. If I'm playing something that's a little too difficult, he's going to let me know and I'm going to be in trouble. All right, let's end with Bill's the last thing I was going to tell you about that for today's session is we were doing this E minor pentatonic here, and we're doing this right here. And 4-note groupings, okay? The next thing is he needs an egg sandwich. All right, now watch this. You can do it on the way down as well, right? But you need like the egg sandwich blues or something, Vance. The next thing is this triplet idea of how fun is it to do that? All right, there are two police cars. I'm in trouble. I better get with it. He's egging me on. 2, ready, go. Blue scale. Again. All right, so you get the idea. It's just that this triplet idea. I told this story many times as I was playing with a friend of mine. I was playing bass. He was doing piano, and he kept doing this on the gig. It like didn't matter the scale or the lick. He would do that, and I'm like, dang, I don't do that. This was probably about 2 years ago or so. And I was like, I don't ever do triplets, extended triplets like that. So I started messing around with them, and I love that idea. Now, it would get old if you did that all the time, but isn't it fun just to know that you can do these pentatonic scales? I've written actual tunes where I use that concept. I have a C minor blues that I've written, and it's called, well, anyway, it's called Expressway Blues, but there's a hidden meaning as to why that. I was playing a gig, and I wrote this tune because the guy was late to the gig, and he was trying to get on the expressway, and I wrote the Expressway Blues. So that's a fun way to use that pentatonic thing. All right, now Sharon, I know Sharon is always busy. She's working and playing and practicing and doing these things. I know she's listening now. So Sharon, know that I have some really good ideas for you. I listened very intently and very awesomely to your playing, and with a couple of tweaks, I think you're going to really be happy with some good focus. And so what I'm going to do, Sharon, with you is to have you do some of this micro practicing where we're spending time and working on playing certain language things that maybe you haven't thought about in terms of your playing, and it's going to really help you connect all the dots. But man, you sound fantastic, and you're already, of course, a seasoned, working musician, which is awesome. And I think I have some ideas that'll help you. So, all right, so That's funny, Vance. I need to put out an album. I could sing all these songs. I could sing Marla's Blues. All right, now as we wind up this lesson, I'm going to do this. I know I was going to stay on a little while longer, but Vance needs to make a sandwich. So when Vance is hungry, nobody's hungry or nobody's happy. So here's your last chance for this session to put any questions of something you want to work on, get better on, or if you have any quick theory questions, now is the time. And we're going to do that. So I'll give you guys like 2 minutes. That's my favorite thing. Like, I love Christmas thing. I have some, at least some people have told me that they really like what I do with the Christmas stuff. Hey, let me give you guys an encouraging word while I'm saying, I'm going to go just a couple more minutes, like maybe 5 minutes tops. But now's the question, now's the time to ask any kind of questions that you might have. And also, just so you know, you can do all of those things I said. You can support the channel by saying hello in the chat, by joining our YouTube channel. We're at 15 members. I'm looking for number 16 now. Yesterday I was looking for number 15. Ron subscribed to the channel. It was like a coffee a month, $5.99, and he's a member and getting all these crazy PDFs and everything else. So I hope you guys are enjoying all these. We have 15, from what I hear, very happy members. And then we have an all-access group, and there's a way to donate if you just want to send a PayPal, all in the description here. And I have a free chart for everybody, so make sure you grab that. Inside your... yeah, I know you are. Vance is trying to help me monetize. Yes, I really want to grow this channel, and I really am passionate about teaching you guys. So make sure you click. You can see all the things that if you'd like to donate, there's a PayPal link and some other things, but there's also a chart for you guys. And if you download the chart, it's the beginning blues sheet. I think it's really important. It gives you this Oscar Peterson idea, several ways to turn around the blues scale, and I'm not even getting your email or anything. It's just like you click and you download, so have fun with that. Here's an encouraging word for you guys as I'm winding up this lesson. So when I started music, I started trying to write things out, and I was horrible. I'm still very messy at it. But there's something really awesome that happens when we write out our ideas. Now, you guys know that I use Finale. I'm so far behind in this on the video here, but now I think I'm caught up. But I've been writing things out for years now, and so I have stacks and stacks and books of just ideas. Anytime I have an idea, I'll write it out. And I'm telling you this because I want you guys to try to do that as well. You can go to blanksheetmusic.net. Somebody write that in the chat, blanksheetmusic.net, and it's free to print out any sheet music you want. You pick your clefs, whatever you want. It could be guitar, it could be piano, it could be one clef, grand staff, you name it. Yeah, that's right. Finale support has been discontinued, not the product. I mean, yes, the product, but if you have it like I have it, it'll be fine for a while. But watch this. So write out your ideas. So as I'm looking at this, you guys can't really see this, but it's very messy, but I do pages and pages where I write out my ideas, and then you guys are the benefit. You guys get to benefit from all those. Those of you that are in my member groups, but like, I'm really proud, not of that I've done all this, but just that I've written things out, and it's messy as all get out. But I do get a little better at it, and you guys know that I've been cranking all these PDFs for you guys out in Finale, and I'm much faster at it now because I've been doing it a while. And just like you handwrite things, you'll get better at it. So like, as I'm looking through this one book of stacks and stacks of books I've done, I'm so thankful that I've been able to write this stuff out like this. So if I was writing out a jazz loop, and I would never remember what this was unless I had written it out. But let's just see this one little idea. Let me see. Oh, wait, I did the wrong one. Okay, so that one I just connected a 2-5-1 idea. So I go ba da 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 da. That you could transpose in any key. This other one does this. Let me see. Let me think. Hold on. Now, that's the problem with writing out your stuff. If you can't read it, it's not going to help anyone. All right, yeah, hold on. I'm going to answer you in just a second, Vance. Let me do another one of these. Or this. I like that. So it's this idea. So all of them are going to be different, and anything that I write out, I feel like it's supposed to teach something. And I do have a classical background, and so sometimes they're related to something. Like I could tell just by thinking about when I wrote this out right here, when I go, it reminds me of a song that I did in the classical world, like Czerny or something like that. All right, this right here, it goes like this. This is short 2-5-1s in the key of C or C7. You have this. Isn't that nice even? Put that little half step. All right, anyway, tons of, like, how many of them are there? 16. So yeah, 16 short 2-5-1s. So it's really good to practice all of this kind of stuff. So I'm challenging you guys to write things out. You're going to be probably as messy as I am on some of this stuff. It's called blanksheetmusic.net. Let me see if I can write that in there. I would encourage you to check it out. Totally free. You don't even have to sign up. blanksheetmusic.net. Also, really important is I'm going to do another technology stream. I'm going to show everybody how to get set up with technology, like how to get set up with really good backing tracks, how to use all the different technology options. There are fun things out there for free resources as well. So just know that's coming for our group. I've done it before and it was a huge success. So it's about time to do another technology stream. How you can use technology to really help you as a musician. All right, you got 2 minutes, everyone. Two minutes. Put in your last questions for now. Let's do what we're gonna do. We're always gonna check to see if anybody else hit join. Let's see if we have number 16. What are the chances? Probably not good. Let's check it anyway. All right, we're gonna go to YouTube Studio to see. All right, Ron was the last person that joined. All right, but we are at 16, which is really good. All right, one more minute. All right, Marla, bye. All right, I get to say goodbye to everybody too for this little pop-up stream. All right, Vance, good to see you. Noah, good to see you. Vicky, good to see you. Who else? Jeffrey, how did I miss you in the stream? Jeffrey, the most consistent man at iMusicAcademy. Dad, good to see you as always. Anybody else? Anybody else? Marla, good to see you. And Sharon, good to see you. I think that's everybody. Vance. Let me just go down. This has been a nice active chat. It's really good to have Marla in on a stream and Sharon in on a stream. I look forward to whenever Marla can hang out with us. Bills, no bills to pay blues. Hey, we did it. We went through it all of it, and then even got to that pentatonic thing. How fun is that? See you in the next one. What did you miss? Oh, no. Yeah, you missed it. So I was playing it right here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm hanging up now, and Vicky, good to see you as always. I'm hanging up now, but I'm thinking I'm thinking that somebody else is going to hit join in the next 30 minutes. They're going to go. I'm like using the Force for those Star Wars people. I'm using the Force. You're going to go and you're going to sign up. You can do the lowest tier. That's fine. You're going to get in on this thing and get all these PDFs, join our YouTube membership, and then tonight or whenever I do a stream, I'm going to say, hey, Johnny signed up, and we're at 16 now. That's what I'm speaking it into existence, Vance. And the same thing with everybody's practicing. I'm speaking into existence as you guys are going to practice. See y'all in the next video. Hey, enjoy your sandwich. I mean, that's the only reason we're leaving. I was going to keep teaching y'all, but